have you ever seen like the cars like and they have the crash test dummies?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So if you put Eddie Brock in one of those cars and crash him into a wall, he would be completely fine because he's completely filled
with goo.
With goo. He's solid. He's a solid chunky guy.
Welcome back to SLOP SHELF. We've had a little hiatus. We've had a little technical difficulties.
But don't worry, we're now on the other side, and on the other side is the golden sun. Wait, what's that? It's becoming black. Symbiote tentacles.
Oh no!
Welcome to the Nullverse, everybody.
It's S.P.U.M. We're doing S.P.U.M. This is a re-recording of this episode because we recorded it already, but all the audio got corrupted, so we have to do it again.
Here's a 0.3 second clip of the original recording I was able to salvage.
Come down to Snevic Hospitality, or come out my house, and I'll break your fucking legs, you little prick!
Wow, well, wonderful, wonderful.
I think Venom ruined the superhero movie genre.
Whoa, that is a bold statement.
I want you to hear my justification.
We made a point starting out. We don't want to be a comic book channel. We want to be a movie channel.
It would be so easy just to dunk on all these terrible superhero movies because we get so many of them now, or we used to.
Dude, there was a couple years where it was like every month was a new one. Do you remember Samaritan starring Sylvester Stallone where he plays a washed up superhero? It was an Amazon original.
Yes, I do remember that.
You and me are the only ones. We specifically didn't want to do superheroes because that's kind of its own genre of nerd, and we are absolutely fat nerds on the internet.
Oh, absolutely.
No argument there. But we're not that kind of fat nerd on the internet. We're a different kind of fat nerd on the internet.
Yeah, I could care less.
No hate to our fat nerds on the internet. Shout out fat nerds.
Shout out to you guys, the loyal subscribers.
Yeah, fat nerds.
Listen, I think that Venom completely collapsed the superhero genre.
Explain why.
So, and I do want to attribute this specifically to the death of the origin movie.
Ooh, okay.
I want to first break down the plot of Venom so you guys understand. What's Venom? Okay, Eddie
Brock is a reporter.
He has a beautiful girlfriend who's white.
What?
That's like her only personality trait is that she's a white woman.
She does give like wine mom vibes.
Exactly. And they're in a loving relationship until Eddie Brock has to investigate her workplace.
Yeah.
And he calls out the CEO, and then he gets shit canned because the CEO makes some calls. He's like, what the hell is
Get rid of this guy, because he's a rich guy and he can do that. What's his name?
Carlton Drake.
Riz Ahmed.
Sound of Metal.
Yeah, and then Riz Ahmed, his company they found some aliens that crash landed and killed J. Jonah Jameson' son in space.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. We never even see J. Jonah Jameson.
In the comics, I know that he went to space and found a diamond that turned him into a werewolf, but in this one, he went up in space and found Venom.
So same thing, basically. So anyways, Eddie Brock gets fired. His girlfriend also gets a little bit of a demotion, so she leaves him.
Yeah.
For like breaking this promise that they have. And then there's a 6-month time jump.
Oh, yeah.
And then the movie actually starts. You see,
Yeah.
that was just set dressing. Why did they do that? That's dumb.
Yeah, the 6-month time jump really seems oddly placed because the villain of the movie, Riot, he's a gray Venom. He's just like bumming around, where is it?
Malaysia.
Yeah, Malaysia. He's just bumming around Malaysia for 6 months.
Yeah, and it's like he's trying...
Why?
Because, I don't know,
What was he doing? Because he's in the same woman, so it's not like he found a new thing. And there's a subplot about this, like, this symbiotes keep eating up people, like, very quickly unless they're a perfect match, and that's really hard to find. And that's why Eddie Brock and Venom are good, because they just happen to be a perfect symbiotic match.
Which, fine.
All right, I'll buy it. That's fine. This guy could live in this woman for 6 months. Isn't she a perfect match?
And if Riot's goal is to get back to his home planet and tell all the other symbiotes about
all the other
her,
goop. Yeah, he wants to go back to Goop World and tell all the goops to come
why
back.
did he waste 6 months walking
Yeah.
to the airport? He had to be walking slowly.
Yeah, dude.
He's taking like 3 steps at a time. He's like, oh, time to call it a day.
To
So
wander
maybe
around.
Riot got lost, but that's not true because Riot, like all the other symbiotes, Venom says that he absorbs their memories.
Yes.
So
And they go into a hive mind.
why doesn't Riot know anything about Malaysia? He absorbed a policewoman.
Yeah.
She should at least know how to get to like an airport.
No, she doesn't though. Eventually, Riot gets to America around the same time that Eddie Brock goes to investigate the company again, and he accidentally gets infected with Venom. And then he goes on he runs around and he tells his girlfriend, hey, this company that you were working for is really bad. And she's like, you're doing this now in front of my new boyfriend at this lobster restaurant? He's like, I am doing this right now in front of this lobster restaurant. Let me go eat a lobster real quick.
Yeah, it's some weird like cuck humiliation ritual, kind of like John Cena being naked at the Oscars.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I do respect, the one thing I respect about this movie is that they didn't have the classic superhero takes his shirt off and he's like hella ripped. Because we know Tom Hardy can get super jacked because he did it for BAME.
Yeah.
But he doesn't, and he stays sweaty and grubby this whole movie, which I really like. I think that's a very bold choice, and he does it throughout all 3 movies. He never takes his shirt off and is jacked.
Yeah, good.
That's the solitary gold star of the S.P.U.M.M universe.
So anyways, Eddie and Venom is like, I'm using you, Eddie, to get back to my planet.
Yeah, and he has a speech about how he was a loser on his world. Like, what the fuck do you mean you're a loser on Goop World? What were you guys doing? What do you do there on Goop World?
Yeah.
Were they like pushing you into a Goop locker at Goop School?
I've been having sexual fantasies about some of the other guys at school. What? Give me that.
Listen,
how can you be a loser when everybody is a puddle?
And not to be like that guy who talks about the comics and its accuracy, but Clintar is just a giant prison for null.
Yeah,
as far as I'm aware.
It wasn't when this movie was made. That happened.
The Donny
later.
Cates run happened later on.
I know you are of the same opinion as me, and this is a kind of a controversial opinion on the internet.
Let's hear it.
I could give a fuck about comic accuracy.
Oh yeah, I really don't care. As
long as you, here's my only thing. I could give a fuck about comic accuracy as long as it's interesting. If the choices you are making are interesting, I'm in. Because comics reboot themselves all the time. Comic accuracy is like, sucks.
No, I agree wholeheartedly.
That being said, they should have put the spider on him.
Okay, well, I'm gonna get to that when I talk about the Death of the Origin movie.
Okay, continue.
Anyways, Eddie is like, okay, fine, Venom, I'll help you get to the rocket, but first you gotta help me upload some documents about, like, just proving that this foundation is, like, evil and they're doing cruel experiments on homeless people.
Yes.
Venom's like, yeah, okay, that sounds reasonable.
Yeah, that sounds like something I'm down for.
Yeah, I'm in the neighborhood. Might as well help you.
Yeah, he's in the neighborhood.
Yeah, like, it's on the way there. So...
And they have the coolest action scene of the movie, which is in the apartment, where he's, like, learning about Venom.
Right, and he's
by coolest action scene in the movie, low bar.
It's a little creative, him being taken over slowly but surely.
Yeah. And it's like the movie Upgrade, starring that guy who's not Tom Hardy. Upgrade rocks, by the way. You should watch Upgrade.
So Venom does that, but then they get captured by, I think it's the Life Foundation. That's the name.
Life Foundation.
Yeah, get it. It's like a play because they're killing people. So it's like life and death.
I'm sure it was an acronym.
Yeah, probably. Anyways, Venom and Eddie get separated, and Riot shows up. He's like, I'm going to take the rocket up to the moon, or to Clintar.
Yeah.
And I'll come back with an army. And Eddie Brock is like, oh man, you should probably just kill me. Why are you telling me this? I don't have Venom in me anymore.
Yeah.
And then he's like, no, I'm gonna have my goons take you out to the forest to kill you.
For no reason. You can cut his head off, right? Also, these guys like survive on eating brains, so wouldn't you just want to eat his brain and give yourself a little, like a snack, a little treat?
Yeah, and you've been killing people in this lab the whole movie.
Dude, those people work for you. Those are like your friends. And now you're gonna have this guy taken out because you're like, I don't want to see that.
Anyways, he's like, all right, Big John Chungus, go to the San Francisco woods and kill Eddie.
Yeah, the famous San Francisco woods.
Eddie Brock's wife shows up as she-Venom.
Yeah, because Venom got to her somehow, and
because he possessed a dog. It doesn't matter.
Right there. What the dog doing?
Eddie and Venom reunite, and Venom is like, you know what, Eddie? After going to a newspaper office, I think I like Earth. And Eddie's like, okay, can you help me save it? And Venom's like, yeah, I guess so. Because I was a loser, like we said earlier.
Yeah.
Then they have a fight on a rocket launch pad. At one point, Eddie might be dead, but he's not. And Venom defeats Riot.
They win. The good guys win. There's also other thing I wanted to point out, which was that Venom goes, Riot's got weapons you haven't even seen, and because he can make like knife hands.
Yeah, he
can
makes
like
sides.
shoot spikes or whatever.
Yeah.
Why can Venom not do that?
Because, I don't know, maybe he doesn't have good control of his goop. Maybe that's it.
That doesn't make any sense, because, like, he's making it out of his goop.
Right.
Can't Venom just look at him and be like, I can make some goop look like that?
Well, it's probably the same way how certain people can't whistle or certain people can't snap their fingers. Venom can't become sharp, and he cannot launch projectiles.
Okay, alright.
Yeah, anyways, the movie ends. Eddie is still on, like, he's still cucked by his wife, but he's like, oh, I'm in a good mental space now. Venom is with me. I'll become the lethal protector. Yeah. And then he goes and visits a soon-to-be Carnage in a prison in the post-credit scene. Mm-hmm. Movie ends.
Oh, and then he reveals himself to the best character of the entire universe, Mrs. Chen.
Oh, yeah. There's an old Asian lady who runs the supermarket, like, next to where
Eddie like Brock's a convenience store.
Yeah, next to Eddie Brock's apartment, and she's, I don't want to say a stereotype.
Yeah, she's a little stereotypical.
It would be so awesome. It would be so cool.
She's a little stereotypical.
She also shows up in Spider-Verse. Here it is.
Yeah.
Wow, great.
Yeah, awesome, dude.
Cool. Now, I think I was too harsh on this movie when it first came out.
Yeah, I know.
said that last time, and I'll say that this time. I think that everyone was too harsh on this movie. It's fine. Seeing some of the superhero slop that comes out now, Venom's fine.
Well,
is it $1 billion fine? No.
Well, I want to blame Venom for that.
Okay.
So let me get into my spiel because I've been thinking about this for a
while. All right, get into it. We've been teasing it.
Venom is the death of the superhero origin movie. Let me break it down. I want to compare and contrast this to an actual, even though I don't like the character, I'm going to compare and contrast it to the original Spider-Man film with Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire. So you have a character, but you can't use any of the extended universe. So immediately that puts these two movies in like the same ballpark, at least to me, right? What's Spider-Man about? Spider-Man is about a kid who gets bit by a spider, gets superpowers, and he learns to, have responsibility.
Great power comes great response to trilogies, yes.
Yes, and the villain is the foil. He is also like a science guy. He also has a connection to...
Great power, but no responsibility.
Exactly. And then it's this dichotomy of like, okay, where do you use your powers for like good versus evil?
He's like a dark reflection of the hero.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you smartly make a movie.
Okay.
That's like basic, like, no duh.
Yeah, that's screenwriting 101.
Venom doesn't do this. For all the faults that Spider-Man has, like being isolated from the Marvel Universe in the early 2000s, they made it work.
Yeah.
Right? You can't have the Fantastic Four showing up and like helping out Spider-Man here and there. You just can't do that, right?
Yeah.
But you can have Spider-Man, doing stuff on his own. He has like a nice cast of characters other than himself to like bounce ideas off of and to advance the plot.
Yeah, he's got his own little family and friends. He's got an Aunt May. He's got a Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, Venom doesn't have any of that. Venom has Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
He has a wife that I don't know is a real character, like not from the comics. And then the villain, as far as I'm concerned, isn't really like...
He's from the comics, but barely.
Yeah, but barely. Like, what are we doing with Riot? Riot isn't a dark reflection of Venom at all. The only thing is that, yeah, he's evil, and that's it.
Yeah, but also when Venom first gets in Eddie Brock, he had the same plan. He was gonna do the same thing. Yeah. He just didn't have a rocket ship like Carlton Drake does.
Yeah, but I want to describe this as the death of the origin movie because all these other previous superhero movies, they made it abundantly clear how the hero becomes the hero. Spider-Man Classic has the death of Uncle Ben, right?
Yeah.
The Captain America movie has Captain America and it shows how he's selfless and that's why he gets the serum, right? And even when he's told no, he's gonna do the right thing regardless.
Yeah.
Iron Man gets the shrapnel in his chest. We had these origin movies where they spent at least an hour and a half hammering home, this guy is the hero and this is why he'll always do the right thing no matter what.
Yeah.
Venom, we spend the first hour and a half bumming around with Eddie Brock and losing his job, getting cucked by his wife, and then and then Venom shows up and he's like...
And he's still getting cucked by his wife and losing his job.
And then by the time you get to the point where Venom turns good, or at least anti-hero good, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Vigilante level, it doesn't matter, right? By the time you get to the justification of him turning good, it's so ham-fisted. It's like
he just decided.
Yeah, he's like, Eddie Brock, we're running out of runtime for me to become good.
That's pretty good. So why does this affect every other origin movie?
Every other superhero origin movie up until this point, like even Man of Steel, they took their time and they were like, listen, we have disadvantages compared to the comic books, right? In terms of just genres and storytelling. But we're going to make it work. We're going to try to make it work. Like, even like the Zack Snyder movies, you know, like there's something there, right?
He's trying,
but like Venom,
he's trying really hard.
But with Venom, you're getting rid of like the most important aspect of the Venom origin story, which is, say with me folks, Spider-Man. So now they're just trying to make it work. They're trying to make it work, but it's not working. Why? Because Spider-Man's not there. Why isn't Spider-Man here?
I have an answer for that.
Yeah, I know the meta reason why he's not there, but go ahead.
The reason Spider-Man is not in this movie or any of the Sony movies is because that he was supposed to be in Madam Web. We'll get to that when we get to Madam Web. We'll talk more about that. But everyone who made this movie throughout the entire production thought that this was going to slide right into the MCU. Sony thought, listen, we gave you Spider-Man, we'll make a Venom and we'll make him a big hit, and then you guys can have him for a nice big millions of dollars. It didn't work. Marvel was like, we're doing our own thing. We have no room for Venom. We don't need him. Also, this movie's kind of bad. So now Sony's stuck holding the bag with a $1 billion movie and no Spider-Man. And they're worried that if they put a different Spider-Man in, it's going to confuse everybody. So this movie, Venom 2 and Morbius and most of Madam Web were all shot and written under the assumption that they were part of the mainline Marvel universe. They were not.
They weren't. They're separate.
And people got fired because of it.
Oh,
Matt Smith said he got tricked into being Morbius because they said it was a Marvel movie. It was an MCU movie. Dakota Johnson fired her manager for putting her in Madam Web.
And I'm sure
Sydney Sweeney only took Madam Web so that she could make Anyone But You, which was the movie she actually wanted to make. And then everything with Sydney Sweeney happened and that career imploded. We're not going to get into that.
Now let me talk about the fallout of Venom.
Okay.
Because Venom comes out and all these superhero executives watch Venom and they're like, wait, we can just omit key details from the hero's origin story
and make $1 billion
and just get away with it?
Yeah.
So then,
because it came out right around the time of Infinity War and Endgame, where Marvel craze was at its absolute peak.
That's right. So people see Venom and they're like, okay, we can take some notes from Venom, unfortunately.
Oh, God.
We are going to take away the wrong lessons. We're going to maybe skip origin stories because Venom did it so poorly. The audiences that watched Venom, yeah, I made $1 billion, but people were like, yeah, I mean, it was fine.
Yeah, nobody remembers Venom.
Nobody remembers Venom, and the hardcore comic book fans are like, maybe we're done with the origin movies. No. Oh my God, no. Don't stop doing that. And then you get movies like Captain Marvel and Black Panther. They're starting to shy away from the origin story. They're like...
Black Panther was before.
Yeah, I'm aware, but that's like the first test of like, okay,
can we do an origin movie that's not about how the superhero gets their powers?
Right, or like, can we do an origin movie but do it in a different way? And it's like, yeah, that they succeeded in various ways, right? And then you eventually get to like the new superhero stuff, and they're just like, fuck it, we're not doing the origin story. We're not doing that anymore. Superman 2025, no origin story. We just get right to the action.
Here's Superman. You ever heard of Superman? Well, now you have.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think movies are the worst for it. I think these movies need the origin story, not for us, the audience, but for the directors. Because they need it. The writers and directors need to be held on a leash.
Yeah, okay.
When making these superhero movies, or else they become slop.
Well, the reason that we have 1 million origin stories is because of Batman Begins. They used to just do superhero movies that just kind of existed. Like the first Superman, you get a little bit of him as a kid and him on Krypton, but then he's just like, oh, it's time to be Superman now. X-Men, they already exist. The team X-Men already exists. Spider-Man's the first one that I can think of where they're like, okay, now we're doing, here's how he gets the powers, here's his life before and how it changes after. And then Batman Begins, it's now we do it and we're taking it seriously.
Right, okay.
So then everybody's trying to do that. And Venom is trying to, it's like trying to make Batman Begins about Robin without Batman.
Yeah, it just makes no sense, like, on a meta scale.
Yeah.
So people are just confused. They're like, why isn't Spider-Man here? He should be, there should at least be a mention. Because why is Venom taking the shape of big, bulky Spider-Man? What Spider-Man doesn't exist? Is this just Venom's normal shape? If so, that's dumb.
Yeah, also, where does Venom go? Where in Eddie Brock's body is Venom when he's not 9 feet tall?
We discussed this
Or is Venom hollow?
No, we discussed this last time.
Like a Cadbury egg.
Venom is, Eddie Brock just becomes a lot more dense.
How? You can't create or destroy matter, so where is it all going?
I'm aware, like...
Point to where in your body there is empty space.
The intestines, the stomach, the like, parts of the air particles, right?
There's 9 feet of Venom.
Right, I'm aware, but think of it this way. You know, have you ever seen, like, the cars, like, and they have the crash test dummies?
Yeah.
And stuff like that? So if you put Eddie Brock in one of those cars and crash him into a wall, he would be completely fine. Because he's completely filled
with goo?
With goo. He's solid. He's a solid, chunky guy.
That means that Eddie Brock, when he's walking around every day, being all sweaty, getting in that lobster tank, weighs like 500 pounds, or does 9-foot-tall Venom weigh 250 pounds?
I think the 500-pound Eddie Brock makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, that's way better.
Anyways, my whole point about the origin story is that I think it gave a gateway for movies to just be a lot lazier with how they justify putting characters into a story and into a script. This is kind of where the superhero fatigue started to begin. Like, of course, these movies were still making $1 billion hand over fist. But I think it was Venom that kind of spurred all these other companies to be like, well, let's just make a movie. We don't really need to bond with a fucking origin story.
We can just do whatever. As long as we have a recognizable IP. Because the thing about Venom is that he does sell merch.
Oh my god, yes. Of course he does.
Because he's like Spider-Man, but he's like edgy, he's cool.
Yeah, he's dark, edgier Spider-Man, he's stronger.
Yeah, he's got big teeth.
Big muscles, he eats people.
Yeah, and he eats people, he's got big teeth and he's all black. And then if you want to get even more edgy, you got Carnage, he's red, he's even more edgy. He's more evil, he's more twisted.
I also think that Venom...
He calls crazy bread regular bread. That's how crazy.
Shut the fuck up.
I also think Venom kind of ruined the cinematic universe. Because at least with, like, superhero cinematic universes.
I have a counterpoint to that. Finish yours thing first.
Venom, the only plan that they had was, we're gonna introduce Venom, and at the end of the movie, hear me out, Carnage is gonna show up.
In the worst wig you've ever seen.
Exactly. So their plan was just a sequel.
Okay.
So for superhero movies, no duh. That is the logical conclusion to all these movies, is that there's gonna be a sequel.
And they should have started with Carnage, because that's the only like guy that Venom makes sense going up against that has any name recognition to anybody.
Right, and that would have been...
But they couldn't do that, because then they would have nothing to tease for the second movie.
I understand, but that would be the interesting, like, movie version. That would be Eddie Brock having this natural foil, being a criminal. Eddie Brock reports on the news, and he's a good, articulate journalist. And he has to go against this crazy serial killer. And there's hundreds of ideas to do with a Venom and Carnage movie that eventually they're going to do, and it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
You had to do it first. You can't start with gray Venom.
Now, I think that cinematic universes, and we're going to talk more about this as things go on, Marvel is the anomaly. They do not work. Every single cinematic universe is either a retrospective cinematic universe, like what Tarantino did, and he's like, oh, actually, yeah, they're all the same, in the same whatever. Or they don't work. Dark Universe has been tried how many times? DC Universe crashed and burned.
And we're slowly getting back on track, but who knows how that's going to turn out with the Paramount stuff. Or Netflix.
S.P.U.M.M sucks butt.
Give me the milk! Caliente!
The only ones that I think that work are... to a certain degree. I'm not saying that they're...
MCU works.
Star Wars kind of works.
Star Wars, yeah, but that's not a cinematic universe. That's something that has then bloomed into multiple stories. It's not separate trees growing to make one canopy. It's one tree growing and sprouting branches. The only other one that works, and it like barely works, is Godzilla Kong
Right.
Multiverse. And the reason that works is because it only has 2 things to do. But now we've gotten to the end because every single Godzilla movie has to also have King Kong. They will never make another like solo Godzilla movie. It's just not going to happen.
There's not going to be a Mothra movie. All you perverts out there.
Fuck no, we're not doing Mothra. Ew.
They're going to go to the Hollow Earth where we lose the main appeal of Godzilla, where he's big, and now he's normal size compared to everything else.
Yeah, now it's like 2 guys. Well, that's also like all the rest of the Godzilla movies where it's just 2 guys in suits bumbling around a fake city.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, but that's why it works. And this doesn't work because they're trying. You can't make the first movie thinking you're gonna make an Avengers. They didn't make Iron Man and be like, we're gonna tease Thanos in the first Iron Man.
No.
Because you can't do that. You're setting yourself up for failure because then everyone's like, all right, I'll check back in when you got the next big thing.
Right. You tease Nick Fury, who could be a guy who brings the Avengers together, or he could also just be in the second Iron Man movie.
Yeah.
And he could be like, this is Black Widow. You know, you two have a connection in the comics, right?
Yeah.
And that's a perfectly natural point. Like, if the Marvel stuff ended at Iron Man 2, people wouldn't think, yeah, Samuel L. Jackson, why was he there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They would just be like, yeah, they were setting up the sequel.
Yeah, duh. This is something that I've said a lot of times. Every single movie that has ever been made, that has ever been finished, except for one that we're going to talk about very soon.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody along the line cared very deeply and really believed that it could be a hit.
I think I know who that person is for this. I have 2 people.
One is Tom Hardy.
One is Tom Hardy.
He's really given it his all, and I think it's a good performance. You think it's not very good. I think it's good, and he also does Venom, and...
He wanted to make a movie for his kids to watch.
Yes.
That
and
was like his main thing.
Is very invested in Venom. He's even a writer on the 3rd one. So he cares a lot about this.
Right. The second person I could say wholeheartedly who actually cared
What
was
is it?
Eminem. Marshall Mathers.
Absolutely.
Listen, if you guys haven't listened to the Venom song,
Here's 1 second of it.
oh, okay, all right.
That's all you got.
That's it. We can't do anymore. By the way, Max, where would you put Venom on the tier list?
I don't want to go higher than B, and B feels a little high. But my first instinct is B, because it's not that bad.
No. It has to go in C tier.
Okay, fine, C tier.
All right, C tier. I can morally support
Put it higher.
Yeah, no.
You know everything else is to go lower than this now.
I'm aware.
All right.
I'm so aware. Next time on SLOP SHELF,
We're going to do Morbius. We already did it, but...
we're going to keep talking about these movies until we're finished.
Yeah, there's 6 of them.
There's 6 of them, so mark
And
your calendars.
dude, it's all downhill from here.
Yeah, these get worse and worse as we go on.
Oh my god. It's so wild to me that of these, there's 6 movies in this universe, and this is the best one. The one thing I want to point out before we leave,
Yes.
really funny, is when they're testing all of those symbiotes, they're like, hey, check this out. Sound really hurts them. And then he turns on a really loud sound, and the guy goes, ah! And then Carl the Drake, the only guy with a brain, is like, stop! Don't do that!
Why are you doing that? We have like 2 test
We have
subjects.
like 2 of these guys. It costs us $1 trillion to get this from space. Stop!
He's like, look, if I crank the sound up more, he might die.
You're a scientist. What are you doing? Join us next time for Morbius.
All right, I'm Jared.
I'm Max.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Inside me like a parasite.